What's up, guys? Here's the thing. I love any tool or technique that will help expedite my makeup process without actually sacrificing the quality or the end result that I'm actually going for. That's like my main goal when it comes to makeup. If I had a motto, it would be trying the least to look the most, if that makes sense. So today's video is about a tip or technique that I like to use to get one of the easiest smoky eyes ever possible. First, I'm going to show you about the things you need and how to get it done, and then I wanted to share some color combos with you so you could really see just how versatile this technique is. Even if a traditional smoky eye isn't your thing, still keep on watching because you might be surprised. And with that, let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, first, let's talk about the things that you need. First up, an eye pencil or an eye crayon, basically any cream product in a pencil or potted format that you want to use as a cream base for your smoky eye. Next up, an eyeshadow. That's it. Oh, and a brush. One brush to blend both of those things out, and that is all you need. And actually, fun fact corner, you could reduce this to a one-step smoky eye if you really wanted to by just using that cream product, if you find one that sticks without needing to be set with another powder. But this is if you want a smoky eye that looks complex, like you're wearing multiple shadows at once, but you don't want to actually spend the time and the brushes and the energy blending multiple shadows together. That's the ultimate goal here, but you could even simplify this further. So now that you know the products, I want to talk about how I use them. First, starting off with your cream product. Start by applying it directly to your eyelid. That's where you're going to want the most intense pigment. I would even say closest to the lash line, and then start diffusing it upwards. Blend it throughout your crease, and the part you really want to focus on blending the most is probably your crease out to your brow bone area. You can honestly pay less attention to your lid space as long as your eyeshadow is nicely pigmented, because for the most part, your shadow is going to cover your lid space up. It's really this crease area that you're going to want a nice, smooth, diffused transition. And this is also where good quality cream products comes into play. Things that are easy to smooth and blend out, yet dry relatively quickly and then stay, like have a nice grip on the eyelid without creasing or melting down throughout the day. I have a whole video about my favorite eye crayons or eyeshadow sticks if you want to go check that out, but two that I forgot to mention in that video, I figured now would be a good time to talk about them, are the Linda Hallberg crayons. I'm using a set from her. This is called the Fusion Kit, but I have a couple of sets from her that I've talked about here in the past on this channel. She makes some incredible crayons and in a wide variety of shades as well. A little harder to get a hold of, especially in the US, I think. I don't know that she has any in-store displays, so you can't swatch them, but trust me, if you see a color you like online, you're probably gonna love it in person. The other pencil that I use here is a great one from the drugstore. It is from CoverGirl, and it is their True Naked Queenship Cream Shadow Sticks. These don't have quite the color range as the Linda Hallberg, but they're more easily accessible. They're a chubbier crayon, which I find can make for a faster application and sometimes an easier blend. And they're also a little bit softer than Linda's too, which makes them easier to blend as well. Once you're done blending that cream, the last and final step to the smoky eye is to pat and blend a powder shadow over top. And this is where I find a good brush is crucial to this. I have a couple that you can reach for that I personally love for this technique. First one is the Real Techniques Base Shadow Brush. It's nice because it's somewhat flat, but still has a little bit of fluffiness and volume here. You can pack that shadow pigment on, but it's fluffy enough to where you can blend and buff cream product out. Especially, you can see with this slightly tapered tip that's still kind of a little fluffy, it's really great for buffing that color out throughout the crease and even blending it up into the brow bone. Same can be said for this other Real Techniques brush that's a little bit wider and denser, might be cumbersome for some smaller lid spaces. This is the Real Techniques Crease Prep brush, especially great for cream products as well. And then the other brush I really like for this is actually one from e.l.f. and this came in a kit, so I don't know if they sell it individually, but the kits are so well priced with e.l.f. you might as well get a kit anyway if you're after this, because I loved every brush in this kit. But basically super similar to the Real Techniques. It's a little bit less fluffy, so better for packing on that shadow, but still has a nice fluffy-ish kind of tip so you can buff that crease out and beyond. Once things are blended to your liking, you're good to go. It's literally that simple. And so now I wanted to share some products and color combinations that I put together to show you how versatile this technique can be together to create more than just your average smoky eye and hopefully inspire you to try it yourself. So first off, the products that you saw me use in the demo just now is the CoverGirl eyeshadow pencil I mentioned earlier. The shade that I have is 910, and it's this beautiful mid-tone beigey taupe shade with a matte finish. One thing I really like about this CoverGirl line is that they do have matte crayons as well. And one thing I really love about this shade is it isn't as severe as a true black might be, especially if you aren't used to wearing a smoky eye yourself. This is a great way to amp up the intensity without going full-blown like carbon black smoky eye. Then the shadow that I paired with it is another matte shadow. This is actually one from the e.l.f. Mad for Matte eyeshadow palette, Holy Smokes version, and I went for kind of the shadow that corresponded with the shadow stick. I didn't want to get anything too crazy or wild, wanted to keep it simple and again a little bit more subdued for a more approachable smoky eye. Pat that over my lid, blended it out through my crease, and it is that easy. My next color combo is an even softer smoky eye. In fact, some people might not consider this a smoky eye, but honestly, smoky eyes can be intimidating, and so if this is smoky relative to what you're going for, I wanted to include it just to prove that this technique can be for you and a smoky eye can be for you. So what I'm using here as my crayon, actually I forgot to mention earlier, is from Esam. They make these amazing dual-ended eyeshadow pencils, and they're great not just in quality but because you get 2 for 1 color. So in this look I used the lighter one in this duo. This duo, by the way, is golden brown. I used the gold all over my lid, inner corner, lower lash line. It makes it easier to get that brighter inner corner if that's what you're after. And then over top I went in with a single. This one is from City Color and it's their shimmer shadow in the shade Sandstorm. Again, just patted that all over my lid, blended it throughout my crease, and was good to go. And the nice thing about this Esam brush liner, the great thing about this is that right on the other end here you have a much deeper liner that you can go in with and smudge to further define your eyes if you really want more of a dramatic line on your waterline or a smudgy wing. This pencil offers up a little bit more versatility like that. Now this next look is a combo where I start incorporating colors. I reached for the Linda Hallberg pencil in the shade Altair Flash, this incredible orangey bronze shade, blended that everywhere, as I did with all of these looks. And then once that was done, I went in with a shade from the Jackie Aina palette, the deep brown shade called Credit here, all over my lid. And then on the other eye, used another Linda Hallberg pencil. This is in the shade Calf Flash. Once that was blended in, I wanted to experiment with some duochrome, so again, reaching back into that Jackie Aina and Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, went into the shade Sponsored, which is a beautiful blue-brown reddy kind of shade that really pops against something deeper and more complex like that shade Calf Flash that I have as a pencil. And last, let's talk about the shades that I'm wearing on my eyes today. So I first started with, once again, another Linda Hallberg pencil. This is in the shade Guilty Mood, and all of the Linda Hallberg pencils that I mentioned in this video came from that set called the Fusion Kit. In case you're wanting to try all of these, they actually did come in a kit together that I really recommend. But I'm using the shade Guilty Mood, which is a matte deep turquoise shade, and blending that everywhere. This one is one that really dried down fast, so you have to work with it pretty quickly as it dries down. But again, you didn't have to be, or I didn't find I needed to be too careful with blending it perfectly across the lid, because the shade that I went with over top is from Clionadh Cosmetics. This is one of their multi-chromes in the shade Forge here, where it's like bronzy maroon at some angles, kind of a burnished green, gold, like so many different facets to this shadow. And when you put it on the eyes, all of those come through over this deep and colorful base. So in reality, I'm using 2 products, but it looks like there are, you know what, 3, 4, 5, you tell me, on my lids. I hope you guys are as big a fan of this technique as I am, and I really hope that these color pairings helped inspire you to kind of try it for yourself. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below, and if you're interested in hearing more of these kind of time-saving tips while still getting glam, also let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye guys!